If this isn't Nicolas Cage, I'm gonna be very disappointed. Nope. Oh, National Treasure: Edge of History, streaming soon. Okay, I mean that wasn't a lot of
So
info.
it's a direct to TV kind of movie,
Yeah,
or it's a
well, actually,
TV
I
show.
think it's a series. I would assume it's a series,
If Nick Cage isn't in it, then it's a wash.
right? There has to be
Like
like
that
some
looked
type
like
of cameo or something. But my
that looked
first,
like
go ahead.
some Indiana Jones LARP.
Right. And I kind of wonder because it's been literally like maybe a decade plus since I watched that like National Treasure 1 and 2. So like I can't remember like the tone of those first two movies, but like it seems like they're trying to go for something serious here, I guess. And like you said, like sort of Indiana Jones type vibe.
I think they were in the same vein as Indiana Jones. I think that's a very good comparison.
Mm-hmm.
However, it doesn't have like an Indiana Jones. Like it had Nick Cage as Nick Cage.
Right.
So
Uh-huh. But yeah, that didn't give us too much information. But you know what? Like I've just played Uncharted Lost Legacy, like I think a week ago, and like I'm in this whole mood for like adventure, sort of Indiana Jones storylines. Or this has that right balance of like quirky, has some soul into it, has like action adventure. But yeah, this looks kind of promising. It needs to have Nick Cage in it. I think we all can agree on that. But
I feel like a lot of action adventure films also need to not have Dwayne the Rock Johnson in them at this point in time because I'm also eager for some action adventure, just not with Rock in it. I need a break.
right.
He's in like every movie.
We thought the war at last was ended.
Today, our days of peace begin.
We thought our joys would be unending. We thought our light would never dim.
The skies are strange.
Eudysseus Galadriel, the moment we feared.
Wow.
Evil does not sleep. It waits.
Beyond the darkness, tempting shadow, to bury us all beneath the mountain.
He has not one name, but many.
Have you heard of him, lad? Have you heard of Sauron?
Oh.
If the evil rising is left unchecked, it will take us all. Find the light, and the shadow will not find you.
Together we can survive this!
Fight with me.
Each of us must decide who we shall be.
There can be no trust between hammer and rock. Eventually, one
Wow.
or the other must surely break.
You have been told many lies of Middle-earth.
Oh dang.
September 2nd. Okay. Caleb, what do you think of that?
That looks so sick.
Oh yeah.
Like apparently that's one of the most expensive television shows like ever made, and you can tell every dollar that looks like it was well spent.
Yeah, the
Like, oh
first
my God,
thought
it looks great.
was like I was like, well, this has better CGI than the recent Marvel projects, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, I don't even think some of it was CGI. Like the orc at the end, I think that was practical effects, like
Mhm.
makeup.
Right. I think the only thing I saw was like like the whale thing like over the boat. I was like, yeah. But I wanted to ask you, like, what's your whole history with the Lord of the Rings?
So the Lord of the Rings, I got into it at a very young age because they came out whenever I first turned 5.
Mm.
And I don't know if you remember, but like from 2001 to 3, they were like these huge events whenever they came out. They made scores of money. Like, you know, what we're kind of used to with Marvel projects now, they were like one of the few to actually do it, like Titanic, The Lord of the Rings, very few in between. And I gotta say, I fell in love with it. Like, who wouldn't at 5 years old? Like Legolas, you know, flipping around, shooting bows off of shields and tossing a dwarf over, you know, stone, like a Stonehenge type building, Helm's Deep.
Yeah. Right, but like, so me, I'm low-key a poser, right? I do like Lord of the Rings, but I've only seen the prequel films. So I've only seen Desolation of Smaug. I think there's either 2 others or 1 other. But man, were those movies dope? Like, I was never like the Lord of the Rings fanboy. I was like, oh, like Lord of the Rings, whatever. And then I actually gave it a watch, I think like 2 years ago. And it was just, man, like the soul, the charm of that film was crazy. And like looking at this one here is like, you know, Lord of the Rings just nails the idea of a spectacle. Like some of those scenes, I'm just like, wow, that's beautiful. Like every time I said wow, it's just like I looked at that scene, I'm like, that is just a beautiful ass scene. So I can't wait to see what's gonna be, you know, looked at.
I feel like the Lord of the Rings as an intellectual property has been blessed that every time it's been brought to the screen, it's been brought with like sincere craftsmanship.
Yeah.
Like you're missing out not having seen The Fellowship through Return of the King, because those films are, like, when you say spectacle, they were huge. The second one, The Two Towers, they used like, I think like 10,000 what's it called, extras to do a war scene.
Wait, 10,000 extras?
Like, it was in the thousands.
Wow.
Thousands and thousands of people to help out on that film. And, you know, most films today would just be like, oh, well, they're against an army. Okay, we'll have like the front row be practical effects, like actual people, and we'll just, you know, CGI the rest, and it just doesn't have the same type of effect as it did watching those films. And those came out 20 years ago now. 21 for the Fellowship of the Ring.
Wow. So do you know any, like, what the plot for this series is going to be?
I think it's going to be taking from the Silmarillion. I think. I don't know. I'm not for sure. I do know that it's not based off a book or story written by Tolkien. It's more off like the notes that Tolkien used to make the Lord of the Rings. And I don't know if you've ever like picked up those books, but in the back, there's like these massive appendixes that have like whole languages that he created to write these books. Like thousands of years of history and like chronological order, telling you every major event that just didn't take place in those books. So that way, anytime you're reading it, you felt like you were connected to this huge universe.
Right.
And I think they're tying into that. And there's a lot to tap into there. A lot.
Right. When you said that, I kind of was like a little cringe face, because I know that's what kind of went wrong with Game of Thrones, where that last season went off of the original, you know, material. So like, I wonder how fans are reacting to that part.
Well, I think Tolkien was always the better writer and creator between him and George R.R. Martin. Like, Tolkien is dead, so he has no creative oversight, but George R.R. Martin was there watching them make a crappy finale to his show. They literally gave him permission to say what should happen so they could stay as close to whatever book was coming out next that he hadn't written yet. And it was still terrible. Loki thinks he was like, this is the best ending that I can come up with. Everybody saw it and was like, whoa, this is crap. And he's like, okay, got to change the ending of this unreleased book real quick.
Yeah, right. Well, on a scale from 1 to 10, how excited are you for The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power?
Dude, like an 11.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Like I said, as not the biggest, you know, consumer of the Lord of the Rings media, like I'm up there. I can't wait to be, especially like imagine like the conversation surrounding this series as it gets released week by week. Hopefully it's week by week. Hopefully it's week by week and not like a whole like just drop it, binge it. But like I cannot wait to be in that circulation discussion.
I didn't even think about that. Like all the TikToks, Reddit posts, Twitter feeds.
It's gonna be like the early days of Game of Thrones again. It's gonna be sick.
Yep.
Dungeons and Dragons honor among thieves.
Here's the thing. We're a team of thieves. And when you do this, you're bound to make enemies. Sometimes those enemies come looking for revenge. Truth be told, we helped the wrong person steal the wrong thing. We didn't mean to unleash the greatest evil the world has ever known. But we're gonna fix it.
So how do we pull that off? Figure it out over a drink?
Probably best. You need to give us a fighting chance. We're gonna need strength. You got this, right?
I know you don't.
We also need courage, magic, and you. What is that again? It's an owl bear.
Let's go!
Be warned. There is evil here.
I'm glad he's on our side.
This one's dangerous. But whatever happens, we'll be ready.
That's it. Was it coming out?
What is it exactly that you bring to this?
I'm a planner. I make plans.
You've already made the plan, so
If the existing plan fails, I make a new plan.
you make plans that fail.
No,
He also plays the lute.
not relevant.
March 2023. Okay. I was vibing with that. I think that looks pretty. I was getting like Guardians of the Galaxy kind of vibes. Like everything down from the soundtrack. I was like, you know what? I like it. I like it.
I feel like I'm going to be concerned that this one's going to be a dud.
Really?
Like, what was that? That World of Warcraft movie was a dud.
Yeah.
I feel like this could be in that vein.
Yeah.
But like the trailer looked pretty solid. Like, I'll give it a shot. You know what I mean?
Right. And like the Lord of the Rings, like, you know, like just like the whole like medieval sort of like, you know, wizards and warlocks sort of theming. Like the spectacle is always dope in these movies. So like, you know, it's going to look good. But like, yeah, I think that like we said before, the only difference between World of Warcraft and D&D is that World of Warcraft has like a set story and like it sort of has to follow that kind of storyline. If you want to do like video games and like not do like your own sort of adaptation. But like with D&D, like there's so many different campaigns that you can just like, hey, like let's do this campaign about, you know, thieves. Let's do this campaign about like, I don't know, orcs or something like that. Like it's very much so customizable in that sense. So like, you know, if someone's vibe isn't this sort of like thieves theming they want to do, maybe one day they'll do like a whole like just knights movie where like there's a bunch of like you know, brother in arms, ironclad knights or something like that. So I think the concept is really dope. You know, like some people aren't going to mess with it, but you know, it looks like a fun time, looks kind of funny, you know. And that's another thing, like tone can also change in another movie. If you're not a huge comedy person, like maybe they'll make a super serious Dungeons and Dragons later down the line. So like, I think I'm more in love with the idea of where they're going than the actual movie itself. But
yeah, I see what you're saying.
But yeah, that's on a scale from 1 to 10. How excited are you for Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves?
6.
Ooh.
I want to say 7, but I feel like if I say 7, I'm lying.
All right, well, appreciate the honesty. I think I'm gonna go with a solid 8. Wait, who's the Who's the main actor in this? The guy from Star Trek and
isn't it like Chris Pine or something like that?
yeah, something like that. I really like him as an actor. I think he's pretty dope. So I think
Yeah, I loved him as Captain Kirk in the Star Trek films. I thought those were actually really solid. Better than the Star Wars films that came out just a little bit later.
Yeah.
Have you given any thought?
God, I love seeing Keanu, man.
Where this ends?
Such a slick
Tale
guy.
will never stop. You know this. No one.
Ooh, Bill Skarsgård? Yo.
Yeah, dude.
Oh man, they already got me. I'm seeing this movie. Oh my god. All right, that's dope. Wow.
It's freaking Donnie Yen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sold.
Okay, I'm at 11 on this.
Yeah,
like 11 and a half. Oh my god.
Like
Yeah,
we've been talking
awesome.
about, right? Like we've been talking about spectacle. The thing about John Wick is like the spectacle, even though like in comparison to something like Dungeons and Dragons, where like or not Dungeons and Dragons, Lord of the Rings, where the spectacle is so wide, they have like the expertise of making that spectacle so like personal. So like in the fights, there's like so much like just minor cool isms about it that you're just like, wow, like that scene like that we saw where he's just like deflecting bullets like this, holding like the sword like that. I was like, woo, it's so sick. Yeah, that's hype.
Dude, I feel like they've nailed the entirety of the John Wick series. Like every single film is hit with me. And it's because it follows like the same kind of formula that they had in the first one. The first one wasn't trying to be a part of, a big saga of like 5 or 6 films.
Right.
It was kind of small, but you're talking about how it like makes everything feel bigger. They had like this fight scene in the club that for a very like relatively low budget film felt incredibly expensive. And plus, the action scenes in John Wick films are probably the best in cinema right now. Like, I don't think the choreography of these fights has been matched yet. Like, I feel like you'd have to be watching like some stylish Spider-Man fight,
right? Some like
to get on that level.
Like we said, like when we freaked out about Bill Skarsgård, man, like I am so happy to see him in more projects. Like I can't remember what last thing he was in besides I feel like he was in something after it, but like man, I love seeing him play roles, man. He just has like
he looks like a villain,
right? He just has such a fierceness behind him, right? And he's so like diverse, like seeing like how he can like summon that clown out of him, and then like some of the other. I'm trying to think. Let me look up his filmography real quick. But like you said, like go over. You said you're 11 out of 10 on that one.
Oh yeah, absolutely, dude. Like I'm not expecting to be wowed by the story. When I pay my 10 in taxes for a ticket to John Wick, I'm expecting to see him shoot a lot of people in interesting ways, to see some cars, but not enough to be on Fast and Furious levels. Him save a dog.
Right.
And that's about it. I'm satisfied.
Right.
Oh, so bringing some famous cameos.
Exactly, too, right? That's like one of the really cool things with John Wick's. Well, I looked up his filmography real quick. He was in The Devil All the Time. Did you see that movie on Netflix? With
was that the one with Tom Holland and Pattinson? Yeah, it didn't hit with me. I don't know why.
Really?
I was excited, but no, it didn't really.
What I thought that movie was fantastic. Like the quality of Netflix films is a whole nother conversation. But summary, it's not the best wheelhouse of like filmography for Netflix. But like I thought that film was perfectly told. Like the whole beginning was like so kind of eerie, especially with like the whole just the idea of like religion and how that can sort of turn nefarious. And it's like definitely a sensitive topic for a lot of people, but because I don't think they really respectfully did it. I think there's a lot of I'll call them stereotypes. I've never been in that religious sort of circle, But like the whole thing with like the preacher taking advantage of Tom Holland's sister in that movie, and like his father killing his family dog for the sake of his family, and like putting him up on a cross. Like I thought that movie just perfectly stated how these sort of cultural structures can kind of turn, evil. And like I think they nailed that. But I'm curious what you didn't really like about it.
I just don't think it was that memorable to me. Like, I think Netflix actually did have a film come out not too long before that. I think it was like Apostolic or something like that. Hang on, let me see Netflix films.
Yeah.
Netflix originals, my goodness. I don't remember, but it was a film about that was kind of similar about a town like just turning on itself. Had like lottery type vibes, and that wasn't even like a big marketed release. And I enjoyed that as a passing enjoyment. But I remember that more than I remember that film with Tom Holland.
Wow. Okay.
Like I don't remember anything about it. Like I just watched it and was like, okay.
Oh, okay. And it's funny too, because like Netflix always has these star-studded casts, right? And it's like, I guess that's what they think will appeal people to watch it. I guess that's sort of what appealed to me, but like I thought the story was pretty strong. Like that movie literally had Bill Skarsgård, Tom Holland. I think it had Pattinson in it, I believe. But yeah, like I guess each their own, because I thought that movie was sick.
Your waking world is shaped by dreams. Dreams and nightmares that I create and which I must control.
He's out there looking for me, isn't he?
Can you imagine the damage he could do?
I need your help. If dreams disappear, then so will humanity.
I could do without dreams for a while. I haven't had a decent night's sleep in ages.
I'm not gonna stop until I've reshaped this world.
Tell us, what power of dreams can have?
I thought about giving up, but I have a job to do, and I do it.
Things have changed.
Your eyes will tell me everything. Every thought, every feeling.
My creations do not walk amongst the living, killing mortals for pleasure.
Oh, you don't think dreams can die? Let's find out.
Oh my god.
Nightmares do not belong in the waking world.
Oh, it turns out I fit right in.
Dreams don't die.
August 5th, that soon.
Right. All right. I mean, I guess because I don't have I have no idea what the Sandman really is besides it's a DC comic, which I learned like right now. Yeah, I mean, I have not really anything to compare it to. I think it looks dark, which, in the climate of superhero films right now, like besides, things like The Boys and Invincible, like in the main realm of comics with like DC and MCU, like we kind of need that darkness to come back. So I'm excited in that aspect. I saw that the actor from Logan is in there. I forgot what it is. I don't know what I'm terrible at actor names, but
I haven't seen him in a hot minute. I don't think I've seen that dude in a film since Logan.
Yeah. I know this is a very weird nitpick, but like I do not like how the main actor looks. He looks kind of like a True Blood character. So,
yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Which is a really negative thing to say. I feel like 'cause I tried watching True Blood recently.
Ooh, yeah. Talk to me.
And my God, it was awful. Like that is some of the worst crap I've ever seen that have like 7 seasons.
Right, I just recently tried to watch True Blood. I'm like, why did people like this? Or it was either True Blood or Vampire Diaries. Yeah, I mix those two up all the time, but yeah, he looks exactly like someone that would fit right into that cast. But I'm curious, what did you think about the Sandman?
I feel like it came across to me as like some Tumblr fan fiction. Like if it needs to be dark, ooh, hell, the devil, dreams, nightmares, like fucking stuff you would see on like I'm sad parts of Tumblr.
Yeah,
you know, just really, really corny high
that's a
school
really good comparison. Yeah,
depression type crap going on.
because
with this.
now you say it, like I think in one of the scenes I kind of was like I kind of looked closer. I thought one of the characters was Lady Gaga, and like it kind of reminded me of like the early seasons of American Horror Story, and like that whole series has like big Tumblr, like sad, sort of edgy kind of vibe to it.
It did.
So that's a really stock comparison. But you know what? Like I'm always down for a nice little tonal change. Like I'm sick of this whole, which we're gonna get into with the podcast. I'm sick of the whole like Disney kind of humor, Marvel kind of thing. So I'm really excited for a more darker sort of, even if it's like a little corny, edgier tone to it, to just sort of like, you know, cleanse the palate a little bit before I get into more superhero stuff. But yeah, on a scale from 1 to 10, Caleb, how are you feeling with the Sandman?
Oh, 0. I'm not interested.
Wow, that's
I'm
hard.
not interested.
I'm actually
like if people tell me it's worthwhile, then I'll watch it. But
okay,
no, I saw nothing that I'm like, oh my goodness, can't wait till August 5. Like there is something coming out about that time on a streaming service, Hulu, that I'm really excited for. Have you seen the trailer for Prey?
Oh, that's the prequel to Predator, right? I have not seen the trailer, but I'm pretty hyped for that. Yeah.
Me too. Like a predominantly indigenous cast to do a story about a predator versus, you know, the first peoples of the U.S. And it's going to be the first film to have subtitles in, I think, Apache.
Wow, that's dope.
And like, I think the whole concept of that film just looks awesome. I mean, like Schwarzenegger had guns, you know what I mean? Him and his whole Rambo squad in the original, they, you know, ain't got time to bleed. A bunch of these like, you know, very rough dudes. Yet, you know, their crap kicked in.
Right.
So I want to see like how they're going to make these characters evasive and, you know, an attempt to survive.
Right. Wait, is it a series or is it a movie?
It's a movie.
Okay.
It's a movie release.
Yeah, I like that. So I firmly believe that some of these like series that are coming out as series should be movies, because like especially like Miss Marvel or things like that, where like, you know, it's only 6 episodes, you might as well just put that in a movie form or something. Like give me just one shot, let me like it like that, and then move on one day. It's like going week by week watching complete mid, but there's a whole different other discussion. But yeah, Sandman, I'm looking at a I kind of sucker, not a sucker, but like when it comes out at the right time, I really like that sort of teenage edgy sort of thing. So like I'm looking at a solid 7 or 8. I'm kind of excited for this one. Oh, some shorts. Okay. It's cute. It's one of those. But like my immediate thought, which is so disappointing, is that I feel like it's one of those MCU projects where you have to watch it because there's gonna be some end credit scene that's gonna relate to this movie that's down the line. It's like, but yeah,
I feel like it's gonna be like in the vein of What If.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling you're not gonna have to watch this.
Well, actually, I thought the same thing, but it's actually a tie-in to.
No way.
Yeah, there's at the very end of or like the very like last 2 episodes, there's actually a huge development for like what's to come for so before the whole multiverse thing, What If is basically a multiverse like a story because it connected all the episodes. They're like if you don't know, like if the audience doesn't know, like the What If episodes are different sort of storylines and like doing that sort of thing. But like I heard that at the end there's a character called the Watcher, and then like he connected all those like stories together to where like it's in the bigger multiverse. But like I said, like that whole thing is like, I hope it's not one of those things where like you kind of have to watch it so you can be like the one that knows the most about what's going on in the MCU. Like, and we're gonna talk about it more later. That you know, if that's what the MCU is what's the word? Degrading to. Like, it's just that's so lame that you because like most people aren't going to want to watch something like this. I would assume, yeah. So it's like for you to just attach something in there because people want to know more. It's just like it's so lame. And like, what even?
I feel like it's something you put on to like keep your kids quiet while you clean the house or something.
That looks like the audience for that. But like, I'm trying to wonder like what even happened to Groot? Is he dead?
He was just in the new Thor movie with the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Gotcha. Well,
like I think he's a teenager now.
A teenager in tree years.
Yeah, teenage tree.
Right. Well, that was pretty short. Caleb, what's your rating on I Am Groot for hypeness?
I'll give it a 3.
Wow. Higher than the Sandman, huh?
Yeah, like at this point, DC is like an automatic knock on points. Like I saw, what is it? The trailer for Shazam recently, also with The Rock, who I'm tired of seeing in movies. And I was just like, ugh, I'm not into it. Yeah. Like I don't even know how they're gonna do it anymore. Like with all the Ezra Miller stuff, Zack Snyder, like it's just controversy, disaster, bad film, one after the other. Like I feel like it never really took off. So it's like you as an audience member being dragged by these studio heads that desperately just don't want to call it a day and reboot.
Right. I feel you. But for me, I'm looking at a solid like 1 or 2. It is like why? I mean, that's the thing too, is it looks like it's for a completely different audience. It looks definitely more for kids. I mean, and it's only it's a minute and 3 trailer, so like there could be more. I don't know what his fate was after Love and Thunder, so that it could tie into that maybe. But yeah, like it looks like a cute little film for the kids.
Wow! Jesus, what the hell, man?
Still in control, no overwhelming feelings of rage.
No! A normal amount of rage!
You do revert back to Gen form when you sleep.
Was the air horn really necessary?
For comedy, absolutely. This is a multi-year journey you're about to embark on.
Yes.
Yeah. Who's your best friend?
Nikki.
Spandex. Spandex is your best friend. Being a Hulk asks for balance. You have so much more to learn. Yes!
So I'm clearly nailing it at all these things.
If you want to go back to your life as a lawyer, I respect that.
He doesn't mean that.
A little fourth wall break, like that.
More and more eccentric superhumans are coming out of the woodwork. We are going to launch a division for them, and I want the She-Hulk to be the face of it.
Jennifer Waters. Namaste.
I have a serious conflict of interest. This man tried to kill my cousin, Bruce.
Yeah, that's quite all right.
Oh. People only care because I'm representing Emil Blonsky. I think they care because they're like, hey, that girl's great. Jen, do your thing. God, I really like this outfit. I'm not proud of this.
Miss Walters, we answer
Oh.
to a higher power. Our universe is on the edge of a precipice.
I am a lawyer. We do things by the book.
The Book of Ashanti.
No, the Book of American laws.
Whether you like it or not, you're now a superhero.
Let's do this. You know that friend you had in high school who was way cooler than you were, attractive, got all the attention from everyone? Hello.
I think I'm jealous. Is that what I'm feeling?
Yo,
All right. Yeah.
who is that?
Wait. All right. So just a little context. So I did watch this trailer before, doing this recording. So, take a guess who that character was. Any idea?
Daredevil?
Yep, that's Daredevil.
No way. That's
Yeah.
Daredevil.
The suit looks so different from the Netflix outing of his character, but like,
The only reason I knew is because the weapons.
yeah, the whole they're not nunchucks. What are they? I don't know what they're called. I don't know what the weapons are called, but
Unchained nunchucks.
Unchained nunchucks, right? I want you to go first. What are your thoughts of that trailer?
So I don't think I was excited for this until I watched this teaser.
Yeah.
Now I'm actually like, this looks
It looks
pretty
good.
quality. Like this
Yeah.
looks like, like the MCU just a few years ago, like something I haven't seen since Loki, where I'm like, oh my goodness,
Mhm.
like can't wait for next week. That's what this looks like.
Yeah.
Because they brought in a lot of cameos, so I'm guessing this has greater implications for the MCU as a whole.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like that first trailer didn't hit for a lot of people, but this trailer, or the first trailer didn't hit for a lot of people. But this trailer definitely got me in. Like the first trailer had a lot of tones of like a rom-com, but this had like some very serious elements and like had some seriousness, some comedy, and some little bit of romance. I'm totally in. Like, and then obviously at the end of there, we got a nice little shot of a nice, very little sneak peek of how Daredevil's suit's gonna look. And yeah, I'm hyped. Like, one of the things I want more out of the phases going forward is the sort of tie-ins with different superheroes. And like, I don't know why I didn't think of this before, but like, attorney at law, Mac Murdock is a defense attorney, so like, perfect combination right there. I'm also very interested to see kind of what I want out of this film is for them to address. I know it's not about the Hulk, but I really want them to address that maybe he's looking to train Jennifer Walters here so that the world has an incredible Hulk and not a smart Hulk. Because like in the Endgame and Infinity War, we saw that the Hulk is scared. Like he's not a fighter anymore, quote unquote. So if his goal here is so that the world has an incredible Hulk that isn't that's fearless, I think that'll be a really cool thing for them to kind of explore. Because as the world has a smart Hulk now, they're kind of lacking that brute force. So I'm very much so looking forward to that part of it. Yeah,
Smart or not, Hulk's still got to be strong as hell. But yeah, I think it's probably because Mark Ruffalo, how much more can he realistically do? And it's like a turnover for the character, which is why we're gonna get Ironheart too, which like that, don't know anything about it, haven't seen any screenshots or anything, but that's like a 15 for me. Like I'm so excited for the replacement for Iron Man.
And actually, and another thing with this series too, like unfortunately, I'm looking more at what could happen with the Hulk character here. Is that think of how much character development the Hulk can finally get, which is like out of like the whole phase one, or not phase one, the first saga, like Hulk is definitely one of those characters that didn't get enough development, right? I don't think there's anybody out here that's like, oh my God, I love MCU Hulk. So giving him some backstory, giving him some character progression, and giving him some like history with the new character, I think this is perfect for both a new Hulk and the existing Hulk we have now. So going forward, I can't wait to see what they do with Hulk, because I do. As of now, I hate the MCU Hulk. Like he's just not who I expected him to be. But I'm excited. From 1 to 10, what's your hype levels looking like for this?
9.
Yeah,
Definitely 9. I'm gonna watch it day one, no doubt.
Mm-hmm. It definitely was not at first something I was looking forward to, but now that the trailer came out, I'm looking at. I think a solid. I think I'm gonna agree with you. A nice little solid 9. I'm hyped.
No Woman, No Cry is the song for the trailer. Wait a minute.
Man, that trailer gives me goosebumps.
Wait, who's the Black Panther now?
That's the big question, right? Well, first, let's get that a little later on. I want your initial opinions on the trailer itself.
Well, the trailer looked spectacular. Like, my goodness, it looked. The CGI actually looked good in comparison to a lot of recent MCU projects. So, like, I bet they put a lot into this one, and that makes me really excited to see it. And also, I know it was Chadwick Boseman's last film.
Right.
And I'm going to pay the price of admission, definitely with him and his legacy in mind, made a lot of great films outside of the MCU. I don't know if you ever saw the adaptation of Jackie Robinson's life, the film 42. Fantastic. So yeah, I'll definitely go see it with him in mind. But I want to know, is it freaking Killmonger that's Black Panther now?
I mean, like looking at the suit, I think that's the deduction that has to be made. Like, is the gold plated, like the mixed with the black? That has to be Killmonger. I mean, people either are saying that it's Killmonger or Shuri. I mean, I think the obvious answer is that it's Killmonger, but I feel like with Marvel, you really never know. My big theory is that, unfortunately, I think they're going to pull some multiverse stuff. It's either going to keep Killmonger dead, or they're going to pull out a Killmonger out of the ether. Like, here's our new Killmonger. He's actually a good guy now that wants to help, the Wakandan people. But, you never know at this point. Like I said, I believe I said this probably on some podcast that with multiverse introduction, there's so many kind of cop out things that they can do, but if they make it cool, they make it cool. And then we also got, I think, we don't know the exact details. I'm going to do it, but they're going with that. He died in this universe of Chadwick Boseman with the whole mural we saw. And then if you didn't catch it, like that whole beginning scene is just like a big funeral for Black Panther. Even saw, I think it was Shuri carrying the helmet when they were walking in the street. So that was a big question going into this film. How are they going to deal with Chadwick Boseman's passing? And to be honest, I think this is the best way they could have done it. I don't know if Disney had the balls to do the whole like Paul Walker thing, where if they, I don't know if in the later films past Fast 7 where they kind of use his face as a, I think they use his brother's face for like some type of project, but I feel like we have the technology where they could have done that, where they could have just kept him in and just, CGI his face the whole time. But I think for the actor, I think that wouldn't be the best thing to do ethically, in my opinion. Like,
yeah.
So I'm glad they didn't do that. I think this is probably the best way they could have gone with it.
I wouldn't doubt we're probably going to get some type of emotional scene that pays tribute to Boseman in the film, because it looked like that there was like some type of funeral procession that was happening. So I'm going to guess we're going to hear a lot of people just bawling their eyes out in the theater. Yeah. Just like
right. It's going to be right. That's going to tear at the heartstrings. And then we also had that awesome like tie-in with the Kendrick Lamar "We're Gonna Be All Right" song.
Yeah, that was pretty sick. I thought it was just gonna be "No Woman, No Cry." I was like, that's an interesting. Like, I was sitting there wondering, I was like, what's the like? I wonder why they chose this as the theme for the trailer, and then it transition. I was like, okay.
And like the Black Panther 1 had some of the most like one of the better stylistic like sort of soundtracks. Like I remember when the soundtrack came out, I was like, man, this is a banger like movie soundtrack. I was it was
one of the best film soundtracks I've ever listened to. It was sick. And dude, I always say, if the film soundtrack is great, the movie sucks. It's true about things like the Suicide Squad movie, but that was on the inverse. The movie was actually good.
Yeah. I'm curious, what on the hype levels, what are we looking like? What are you looking like?
Repeat again, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Oh yeah, on the hype levels, 1 to 10, what are you looking like for Black Panther Wakanda Forever?
I think this one's hard to quantify. I want to say a 10, but I'm going to drop it down to a 9.5 just because like I'm going to be like hounding the internet for information. Like I want to know who the Black Panther is, like so bad. It's putting me at like No Way Home levels of like hype where I'm going to be scouring the internet late at night. Like, are we sure there's 3 Spider-Man? Are we sure it's going to be Killmonger?
Well, who do you want it to be? Do you want it to be Shuri? Do you want it to be Killmonger? Do you want it to be a multiversal Killmonger?
That's so hard. Like between Killmonger and Shuri, that is so hard because I want it to be Shuri for the sake of like, girl power thing. But I want it to be Killmonger just because Michael B. Jordan was so freaking sick in the original. And, like, it was so crazy. That movie came out, and then you start seeing all the kids walking around with like the Killmonger haircuts.
Right, dude. That's the funny like. Right, like everybody had that like swooped like dread sort of thing going on. I was like, wow, that's culture right there. But like also we kind of skipped over this. We saw the first sign of Riri Williams, the new Ironheart.
Wait, what?
Yeah, you didn't pick up on that?
No.
The little banging of the hammer and then the heart fell out, the Iron Heart.
No.
Yeah, that was in there.
Wait a minute, that's what that was?
Yeah, that was really like the whole. I think that was a whole homage to like the whole how Iron Man started, the whole hammer to the metal.
Wait, so Ironheart is going to be in the Black Panther 2?
Yes.
Oh my god.
And actually,
okay, it's a 10 and a like 10, 11, 12.
There we go. Yeah, actually, earlier today, there was a Funko Pop that released that showed her whole like outfit, like her whole armor. So. Yeah.
Okay, I'm looking it up. I'm sorry. I gotta see. I gotta see
because
you're right now.
Yeah, you're super. I think we're all super hyped to see Ironheart because, like the MCU, like it started with Iron Man. So how they handle Ironheart is going to be very like a spectacle to watch. Because, like I said, like Iron Man is such a classic. He started it all. So I wonder if, cause I haven't read any of the Ironheart comics. I don't know how Tony Stark ties into her character. But I kind of want it to be, I don't know if I want him to somehow pass the mantle off to her, but I think that's probably the best way to go with it. I'm actually so surprised you didn't catch that.
No, I just, was kind of listening to the music, kind of spaced out at that point in time. Like I saw it, but nothing was registering.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was just, so preoccupied, like waiting for that hint, like, oh, it's going to be.
Right.
They wouldn't give that away in a trailer. Of course, they would do what they just did and leave you
make it a mystery, right? We're gonna have to wait all the way up to November to see who is going to be the next Black Panther, right? I love that though. Like just having us wait in mystery. For me, I think I would rather have if I had complete creative control, I would love to have Killmonger be resurrected somehow. Not multiversal stuff. I want him to be resurrected somehow with some like I don't know, some Wakandan magic or something. And like he's seeing the Wakandan people facing off against Sea guys and be like, well, I kind of have to step up and be Wakanda's king. And like do all that. That'll be dope. But yeah. In terms of hype levels, I'm looking at a solid. I think I'm gonna do a 9.
Wait a minute. And what if wasn't one of the episodes about Killmonger becoming the Black Panther or T'Challa? Oh, what if that's what it is? What if it is like some multiverse and it's like that version of Killmonger?
If they pull out that, oh wow, I didn't even think about that.
That would be sick. That would be so sick.
I can't agree because
he comes in with an Infinity Gauntlet and all this stuff.
Yeah, because my whole thing with What If is that I'm sorry that I cannot stomach that art style. I can't watch it. Like it's so ugly. I can't watch it. So
I enjoyed it. I would pick and choose episodes because some are just like, who cares?
Right.
But it was kind of interesting, especially when it came out right after, Endgame. So like the hype was pretty high and a lot of the what ifs tied into the Infinity Stone. So
right.
That was pretty cool. We got to see evil Doctor Strange, which I think was the one in What If. The one from Multiverse of Madness. It may have been, may have not have been.
Yeah, maybe. I think it's one of those things where like I think with multiverse stuff, if they wanted you to know, they would blatantly say that it's like multiverse. Well, like I mean, the whole movie was literally the multiverse, right? Multiverse of Madness. So it probably was. I just wasn't paying attention because that movie was a little sleeper. But
so I want to ask you this: are we getting to the point where mutants are about to just be a thing in the MCU? Like, is it going to be where they were there the whole time? They were just like not saying anything or going under the radar as much as possible? Because in the She-Hulk trailer, there was a reference to these, wacky superheroes just popping up everywhere. And I know that we are getting close to the Fantastic Four and the X-Men properties entering the MCU. To do that, you have to have mutants. Like otherwise, X-Men makes no sense.
Well, I have to ask you a question. Did you end up finishing Ms. Marvel?
No, I haven't finished it yet.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll tell you this. You'll have your answer there if you ever end up finishing watching that. There's definitely I don't want to spoil it for you, but there's some implications for what's going to occur with the Marvel property when it comes to some of the most beloved characters. I'll say that. But Ms. Marvel is a hard thing to stomach. It's not the best series, but if you want a pretty dope end credit scene, then there it is for you.
Well, I gotta check it out. I only have 2 episodes left according to Disney Plus, so speed run that tonight.
Yeah, exactly, right? Right, just like tune it out until like you see like the last 2 minutes pop up on the last episode. But yeah. Well, that's our reactions to what's coming up from San Diego Comic-Con. I think by our reactions, we're pretty excited for most of these projects, some of them, whatever. But we want to hear what you guys are excited for. We didn't watch every trailer, but, leave the trailers that you're excited for in the comments, and we'll catch you on the next reaction. There we go.
Oh, crap. Stop recording.